Hey everybody, welcome back to practice. Today's class is going to be a more grounded flow. You'll want a block for today's practice and you can begin in child's pose. And then come with me on a little visualization or using our imagination. Imagine that you had an elastic belt tied high around your waist. So it's not like a hip hugging belt. It's a high-waisted belt. High-waisted seems to be the fashion these days. So we snugly put our elastic high-waisted belt on. And then as we breathe in, and the circumference of our waist expands, the belt, it gets a little snug. And then as we breathe out and intentionally draw the muscles around the waist towards the bones, our elastic high-waisted belt gets a little more slack or a little looser. So with this experience of breathing in and out, we imagine the tension of the elastic belt around the waist as we fill up with inhalation. And the alleviating of that tension or that slackening of our elastic belt as we exhale. And then into this idea of breathing into the belt or breathing 360 degrees all the way around the body, you can begin to layer in the Ujjayi breath. So it's like we wrap the breath with a little snug belt. And we create an intentional constriction in the throat that doesn't cut off the supply of air, but rather thickens the air that we're breathing. And stay with that rhythm of breath, that sound of breath. And bring yourself forward and up to all fours. See how your hands are set at shoulders distance. And then take a walk to the right. So you're angling your spine, a little crescent of the spine. Still hands at shoulders distance. But now we've layered in a side bend. And then cat and cow over here with this little bit of a crescent shape or a banana shape in the spine. And what you'll notice is with this sideways flexion in the spine, you can feel some more sensation or some stretch sensation along that left hand side of your waist and rib cage. As you next round into your cat, draw the chin under towards the chest, dome your upper back, and take a breath or two here along that left-hand side of your body. And relax that effort, so that's feeling of settling towards front body. Come to the middle, go to the left. Same thing, just angled off the other way. Hands at shoulders distance, cow, cat over here. Lengthening right side, right waist, right rib cage. And as you next round into your cat, stay a couple cycles of breath. Pressing left hand side of the right hand side of the ribs out to the right. And breathing into them. And relax that effort. And come through to the center. Take a moment just to be in tabletop and to feel as if you're sliding your hands towards each other. And you can feel your shoulders kind of pressing in towards the sides of your trunk. So stabilizing in the shoulders. Draw the navel in slightly. So you're keeping some strength along the front side of your spine. And take your right fingertips, reach them in front of you and place them down so the right elbow straightens. And then extend the left leg back with the toes tucked under. And with as minimal amount of shifting as possible, shifting right or left, can you raise both the right arm and the left leg away from the floor without translating too far to the right. So still trying to stay steady through the midline as you take this sunbird. And we're not just holding the arm and leg up, we're reaching them away from one another and creating tension that has integrity. Same reach in the arm that you have in the leg. As you next exhale, release the hand back under the shoulder, the knee back under the hip. Find the middle once again. Slide the hands, shoulders towards each other. Draw the navel in. And then switch. So left fingertips reach forward, right leg extends back. And then at the same moment, float them both up and reach them away from each other. Very good. Use your exhale to release the hand and to release the knee. Let's try to make this a little more interesting, or entertaining rather. Walk your feet or walk your knees together and then walk your hands together so that tips of your thumbs will touch one another. So we went from a wider base of support to a narrower base of support. Still do the things where you're kind of sliding your arms towards one another, keeping the upper back kind of domed, drawing the navel in. And then right arm reaches, left leg reaches, and float them both up. And then what's the experience of sunbird as you reach along your lines when your limbs are closer together as opposed to far apart? And some people will go, my gosh, this is so much easier. And others will go, oh my goodness, I'm going to fall over, right? So it's so subjective. Then release the hand and release the knee. Switch to the other side. Start with fingertips, start with toe tips, and then a decision to lift off and reach away. Use your exhale to let that go, to bring hand down and the knee down. Open up once again, hands at shoulders distance, knees at hips distance. Walk the hands a whole hand print forward. Tuck your toes under, sit your hips back. Take a moment with toes curled and hips back to feel some tension, some stretching of the tissues underneath your feet, so the soles of the feet get some width and some length. And then bring your head down, so it's like the crown of your head is reaching towards your index fingers. Feel the shoulder blades set on the outsides of your rib cage. Then lift your hips up and back into your downward facing dog. And in your down dog, you can pedal, you can sway, or you can stay still, or some combination of those things as we take a few breaths to settle into this. And in downward dog, it's like a really great example of this tensegrity. Right? As we've closed the circuit, the hands are connected to the floor. The feet are, for the most part, connected to the floor. And creating enough reaching forward through the arms, reaching back through the hips, that you actually free up and decompress your spine. And then instead of walking your feet to your hands, walk your hands to your feet, coming to standing forward fold at the back of your mat. Then bend your knees so the belly collects towards the thighs and turn it into a rag doll. From ragdoll, hands to hips, root the legs, shoulder blades draw towards each other, come all the way up to standing with an unhinging from the hips. And then bring your arms by your side like Tadasana, but palms facing in instead of palms facing forward. And then I want you to imagine that there is either a beam, a slack line, or a tightrope through the middle of your yoga mat. And we're going to walk one foot in front of the other on the beam until we get to the front. So it's a lifting of the foot, a stepping over the other foot, and a placing. And see if you can do it while you're looking towards the horizon line. And then when you get to your front of your yoga mat, because you will, I want you to find your object, book or block, and put it on the top of your head. So get it to the crown so that there is a sense of balance of the object. Arms by your sides. Contain your body so there's like a hugging to the midline. And then it's like we're playing like sobriety checkpoint. Now you're going to go backwards, one foot behind the other, until you get to the back of your yoga mat. So how do you have to draw in the body and create tension in the body to not lose your object? And if you're using a giant yoga block like me, right, we've got a little bit more work cut out for us. When you get to the back of your yoga mat, pause. Reach up through the crown of your head, reach down through your fingers. Notice if your chin is jutting forward, retract your chin so you have that straight vertical line of your spine. And then tightrope walk, slack line walk, or balance beam walk to the front of the mat. Try not to drop your thing. So we're staying tall, staying erect as we walk. And centered. When you get to the front of it, then you can take your object. We should have done that with bowls of fruit and put that off to the side. We'll come back to the block a little later. Now that we've found some semblance of understanding the center of the body, stand in Tadasana. Fingers reaching down, crown reaching up, creating that space from heels all the way up to the top of the head. So tension on the line to decompress the spine. Exhale everything. Inhale, raise the arms and lift the eyes. Surya Namaskar A, nice and slow. Exhale out, over and down into forward fold. As you inhale and lift halfway, see that your pelvis is over your feet, not behind your feet. And then exhale, knees bend, hands down, step back to plank pose. Reach heels away from crown and plank. Take a full breath in. Exhale, lower the knees and come down. Whole spine, front body landing at the same time. Point the toes, reach back through your legs. Inhale, cobra. So you're curling the higher portions of the spine. Then exhale, tuck toes, hips back, downward dog. Create the tension that has integrity to lengthen the spine. And take a breath all the way in. As you exhale, crouch, look forward, and then inhale, pull with a step, right foot, then left foot forward. Keep inhaling, lift halfway, pelvis over the feet. Exhale, fold, maintaining pelvis over feet. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up so that traction lengthens you. And as you exhale and release the arms by the side, you stay tall. And then again, inhale, reach. Exhale, bow. Inhale, lengthen, pelvis over feet. Exhale, plank, find your way there. Find this horizontal traction, take breath in. Exhale, lower down, maybe knees or chaturanga where you're hovering at all just above the floor. Inhale, cobra or upward dog, curling back. Exhale, hips raise, downward facing. Breathe here. So actively reaching down through the legs and away through the arms. And we'll work coming forward with a hop if you choose. I want you to think about a slingshot. How you pull back on the elastic and create loads of tension. And then the rock springs forth. And so your elastic is held to the edges of that Y-shaped, let's say it's like a stick or branch. So your arms are the Y-shaped branch and they're immovable. And you take a breath in. And when you exhale and you crouch, right, you sink back and down like you're loading the elastic. Your feet become the rock. Inhale, spring, feet to hands. Yeah, and lengthen. Exhale and fold. Inhale, rise up. As you reach up through the arms, you create your height. Exhale, arms release, the height stays. From there, open up feet as wide as outer shoulders. Take up some space between the legs. Reach back, interlace the hands with each other. Straighten the elbows and feel how when you straighten your elbows, you could also use a strap for this, holding a strap with your hands. When you straighten the arms, there's tension along the front of the chest and the front of the shoulders. Keep it, right? We want to use that. Inhale, lift up through the chin and chest. Exhale, hinge from hips, fold forward. And then take the arms up and over the head as you let your head hang loose. So can you feel the line across middle of chest, out over front of shoulders, into the upper arms? You might feel the line even into the connection at the elbow joints. There's a line of fascia, it's called the front arm line. So we can connect to lengthening this, hydrating this in this posture. And press down into the feet. Use a breath in to lift all the way up to standing. And release the arms. Step your feet together. And then reach in front of you and interlace your hands with your palms facing your face. Then flip your palms to face away from you. Straighten the elbow joints. Push through the heels of your hands. And when you do that, can you feel that stretch across the back of the body? So the back line of fascia, which runs from the arms across the backs of the shoulder blades. Keep pressing the heels of your hands forward. And then keep the action of pushing the heels of your hands forward and raise your arms more vertically. So you're getting into the side line. And let's deepen side line. Take breath in. Keep the canister of your rib cage over your pelvis. Exhale, side bend up and over to the right. As the feet press down, the heels of your hands reach over and away. Then use breath in, come back to center, aligning the canister of the rib cage over the pelvis. Exhale, go up and over to the left. So as you press into your feet, you're reaching the heels of the hands up, over, and away from them. And inhale, come back to center, still with the reaching up. Exhale and release the interlace, release the arms. Open up your stance on your yoga mat. So if you're still on the front of the yoga mat, get wide on your yoga mat. And I'm going to talk about canister of rib cage, right? Keep it, I'm going to probably say that a lot today during the class. So the canister of the rib cage, you can even take your hands to your waist. It stays over your pelvis. Then go ahead and stick your chest forward. And you can feel, oh, the canister of my rib cage just went in front of my pelvis. And then like slouch a lot and bring the canister of your rib cage behind your pelvis. So you want to keep it right over the top rim of the pelvis. So find that first, then reach your arms horizontal. And we notice when we're standing on our feet that we have what's called flexion of the feet or dorsiflexion, which is the feet are flat on the ground. There's an angle in the ankle joint. Let's create that angle in the wrist joints called extension. So bend at your wrists so the heels of your hands can push away from each other. Just like your feet are pushing into the ground, the hands are pushing out like against the walls to the sides of you. Keep that action of reaching away. Turn your right foot out and your left foot in. Then straighten the wrist, reach through the fingers from the center of the chest. And inhale, reach up and away as you set up triangle. And then stay in the setup, right? It'll be tempting to just hunker down, but stay in the reach and explore the lines of tension you're creating to decompress your joints. And then set your bottom hand to something. Could be your yoga block, could be your shin, could be the floor, and upper arm to the sky. And arms reach away and legs extend down. And the more that you can find that expansion out, right, the more space you might feel in the different joints of your body. With an exhale, look down. Inhale, come all the way up to standing. Pivot your right foot forward, turn your left foot out, reach away. And then add the up and out. And stay in your setup and just explore. Back leg anchored, front leg anchored, reaching spine, reaching arms. And then eventually allowing the settling in to Utthita Trikonasana. And the settling in doesn't mean a letting go of the reaching. It just means you're finding like the end point of your pose. Use your exhale, look down. Inhale, come all the way up to stand. Turn your left toes in, widen your stance by an inch or so, and turn your right foot out. Bend your right knee until it tracks over your front heel, and then bring your right elbow to your right thigh. Palm is facing up, forearm facing up. So the setup of extended side angle. Let's do something kind of weird with the arm that reaches overhead. Bring it in front of you. Bend your wrists like you're going to push into the screen. And then turn your fingers to the left and down, kind of like you're swiveling your arm. Now push through the heel of your hand. Reach your arm overhead with a bent wrist. And imagine there's a wall up there. And you push into the wall. And you lift that left-hand side of your rib cage. And you create tons of tension on purpose on the line of your left side body. Keep the heel of your hand reaching away, the outer edge of your back foot stamping into the floor. So stretch the side line. One more breath. Exhale, look down. Inhale, come all the way up to stand. Straighten the front leg. Turn your feet. Let's go the other way. Create enough lunge to lay the forearm. Palm up, forearm up. Right arm goes in front. You folded your wrist. You're spinning your fingers to the right until they point to the floor, and then reaching overhead. Keep the bend in your wrist and imagine a wall. Lift up through the right-hand side of your rib cage. Yes. Tension on purpose. It's good training for tension that happens every single day, right? Getting comfortable with what might feel slightly uncomfortable. One more breath, side body super long. Look down, inhale, rise all the way up to standing. Hands to the hips, all 10 toes facing. Heel toe in a little bit. Keep the hands on the hips, draw the shoulders and armpits back. Create again that opening through the collarbone, the deep front line. Inhale, lift the chest and the eyes. Exhale, bow forward. Keep your hands on your hips. Angle your head towards the floor. Get the weight out of your heels and more into the center arches and the toes, so pelvis shifts forward. Breathe your breath. Staying folded, hands to the ground. Press into the floor. Inhale, straighten the arms, reach the spine forward. Exhale, pivot to the left. Step back, downward facing dog pose. You can stay in dog and explore the tensegrity or the decompression of the spine, or you can take it through vinyasa if you choose. Eventually finding your way back to down dog and then coming down to the hands and the knees. Bring yourself up to a full kneeling position and grab your book or your block, whatever you're going to be using. And then hold the thing in against your chest. So wrap your arms around it. And depending on how big your book is, you could go the long way with it or the horizontal way with it. So we're holding this thing pretty tightly against the front of the chest. And then we're going to articulate the spine in all the ways that it moves. So start by creating, as best you can, mountain pose. So the canister of the rib cage is over the pelvis. We don't have our feet on the ground, so you imagine your knees are the soles of your feet pressing down into the ground, reaching the crown of your head upward. Now, can you create rounding in the spine? So start with chin coming down, and then on purpose, like round and hunch over. Not with your lower back, but with the upper parts of the spine. Can you stay rounded and then take a twist? So you're taking your chest to the right. So you've rotated. From right twist, side bend, right shoulder, right hip. And then from that side bend, think of camel pose, like lifting up through the chest, through the chin, through the nose, and finding that tiny little bit of curl back. From that, go into side bending, left shoulder, left hip. Then add rotation where you swivel your chest to the left. You turn your spine to the left. From rotation, go back to that forward hunching on purpose. And then zip up and get really tall through your spine, back to the kneeling mountain pose. Let's go the other way with that. Round first. Rotate to the left. Side bend, left shoulder, left hip. Lift up, curl back. Keep your legs strong as you do this. Side bend, right shoulder, right hip. Rotate chest to the right. And then can you hunch over and round as you find the center rounded over. Zip back up tall through the spine. Okay, let's do it one more time each way, but we're gonna go a little quicker. So round like cat first, twist to the right, side bend to the right. Lift up, curl back, your little camel pose. Side bend left, rotate left. Hunch over and bring it back to the center. Zip up, get tall. One more time, last direction is to the left. Round first, hunching on purpose. Twist to the left, side bend to the left. Lift up, curl back. Side bend to the right. Rotate, twist to the right. Start your hunching over while you're twisted and bring it back to the center. Then zip all the way back up. Lose your block. Come back to your downward facing dog pose. And take a breath in. Raise your right leg up and back towards the ceiling. As you exhale, step your right foot forward to the right wrist. So it doesn't go all the way between the hands. It's a little short in the way you're stepping. Turn your back foot in and down, so back leg is straight, but toes are angled out to the left. Bring your hands to your hips and rise up, creating pyramid. In pyramid, squeeze your legs, reach up through your arms. So find the tension of the down through the feet, but the up through the spine. Then keep your up through the spine. Bring your right hand to your hip. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, go halfway forward. Can you reach the left fingers away from the right hip so you're lengthening both sides of your body? And now releasing into revolved triangle, so the left hand can go in or outside of your right foot or to a yoga block. Rotate chest to the right, belly to the right, right arm to sky. So all the lines of tension are here. Crown away from tail, left hand away from right hand, right hip away from right foot, left hip wrapping forward away from left heel. Take one more breath. Exhale, unwind, touch the ground. Bend your front knee, walk your hands forward, standing split. Reach the heel away from the top of your head. And then exhale, fold in. The crown of the head goes down, the back leg goes up. Any amount. And from the standing split, walk yourself forward. Come onto fingertips so you're raised with your spine away from the floor. Try leveling off through your hips. Keep your left heel reaching way the heck back. Come off of your right fingertips and reach your right arm forward. So it's like sunbird, only we are standing now. Take one more breath, arm away from leg. Exhale, touch down with the hand, touch down with the leg, standing forward fold. And from here, back to down dog. If you choose to take vinyasa to get there, then feel free. And finding the tensegrity in downward facing. From down dog, left leg goes up with in-breath. As you step through, left foot comes towards the wrist of the left hand. So it doesn't go all the way. Right foot turns in and down and rising to a pyramid. Once you're in the pyramid, tensegrity, up through the arms, down through the legs, canister aligned over the top of the pelvis. Keep reaching up, especially through the right-hand side of your body. Take your left hand to your hip. Take a breath in. Exhale, hinge, go forward without losing your reach. And then decide, where am I placing my right hand? In or outside of my foot? Am I using a block? Place your right hand there. Then rotation. Feel the lines. Intentionally being pulled apart here. Left arm to sky. Releasing gentle left fingertips to floor. Bend the front knee. Walk out. Standing split. Raise the right leg. Then take your bow. So as the crown reaches down, the right leg reaches up. And then perhaps lowering the right leg so that when you walk your fingertips forward and straighten through the arms, there's a more level feeling of spine and right heel. And then sunbird, standing on left leg, right heel reaches one way, left arm reaches forward. And stretch the lines. One more breath. Release the left hand, release the right leg. Standing forward fold. From here, heel toe your feet out as wide as your outer upper shoulders. Turn your feet out slightly. Come down towards squatting. Hands together in prayer at the heart. And take the arms, if you can, right? You have a choice. You can keep your hands in prayer, or you can take your arms into some sort of reach pattern. It may not be vertical. It may be cast on a bit of a diagonal. So the hips stay going down, but the side body gets nice and long. Hands come back together in prayer. And then, can you sit down? Keep sitting down. Keep sitting down. Keep sitting down. And then perhaps land your butt quite lightly to the ground. And take yourself into Navasana. So it can be the bent kneed version with the arms reaching, traction of the spine up on that diagonal, or legs on a diagonal, spine on a diagonal, arms reaching. One more breath wherever you're at with this. Lift the chest, lift the chin slightly. And then see that you have room to bend your knees and roll yourself back all the way down to supine. Take a couple breaths, and while you're breathing, cast your arms wide like a T and do a little windshield wiper. So that was kind of an intense last standing sequence. So take your time to smooth your breath's edge and to move your hips more passively side to side. Bring your legs so they're more parallel, centered, heel toe your feet so they're at your hips distance. Lay your arms by your sides, palms down. You may want to walk your heels a little closer to your sitting bones rather than having them super far away. And see what's happening with your canister here. So if you took your hands to your rib cage, would it be in front of your pubic bone? Could you get your rib cage aligned right over the top of your pelvis? Once you have that, arms back by your side. So this connection of the feet into the floor, the spine lightly pressing the floor. And then find some rolling bridge with breath. As you inhale, articulate up with the spine away from the ground, reaching your arms over your head. And as you exhale, rolling down from the upper spine to the lower spine, releasing the arms back by your side. So there's a scooping as you lift the spine up and reach the arms up. And there's a placing or a segmenting as you roll the different parts of the upper back to the lower back to the ground. So when you lift, you're moving from tailbone up towards shoulder blades. And when you lower, you're moving from shoulder blade part of spine back down to tailbone part of spine. And the next time you lift, so you're carving your tailbone under, lifting the sacrum, lifting the lumbar, lifting parts of the thoracic up to the space of shoulder blades. Now arms by your side, palms facing in. Walk your arms closer together underneath your body. Maybe you make the clasp. Right? And you create knuckles reaching towards heels, knees reaching towards front of room, hips reaching up. Chin is staying steady, chest reaches towards chin. Setu Bandhasana. One more breath with your hips nice and high. Then inhale, heels up, arms overhead. As you lower, upper part of your back lowers first. Mid part of your back lowers second. Lower part of your back lowers third. Heels come down, arms come back to resting. Take it towards figure 4, where the right ankle crosses over the left thigh. And pick up the left foot. Maybe you wrap your hands around the back of the leg or to the front of your left shin. Gather your legs into you so they're being hugged towards you. And you know how we rock and roll in Happy Baby? Well, do side to side here. Figure 4 rock and roll is the new Happy Baby rock and roll. And then try this. Find the center. Keep your legs pulled in. Reach your arms wide like a T. And then take the legs and the hips and pivot them all the way to the left. So you turn this into a twist. Head to the right. 360-degree breath. Coming back to that idea of we're all wearing very fashionable high-waisted elastic belts. And coming back to the center with both the head and the lower body. Land the left foot, uncross your right ankle. Figure 4, other side, left ankle over right thigh. Reach around to the back of the leg or the front of the shin, legs coming towards you. And then side to side if you choose. Rock and roll figure 4. And find the center wide like a T with your arms like wings cast to the side. And then pivot. Lower body right, upper body left. Bringing head to center, lower body back to center. Land the right foot, uncross the left leg. Take yourself to Supta Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet meeting together in prayer, knees wide. And hands to the belly, so placement on the abdomen. Let's do work with double inhale, single exhale, and then triple inhale, single exhale. Start by emptying of breath. Everything goes. You still are wearing your imagined, very fashionable belt around your waist, but inhale about halfway. So you pause in that expansion and hold. Now, can you inhale the rest of the way? So 360 degrees, you fill out. Hold at the top. Hold yourself full. And then exhale everything. And feel that narrowing or that gentle contraction of the trunk. And then can you make that a triple breath? So inhale some, pause, inhale some more, pause, inhale the rest. So now you've swelled up with your breath, hold, and exhaling, 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 letting it all go. Relax the hands away from belly. Instead, take them along the outer thighs and gather your legs together. And then extend and slide your legs long along your yoga mat and rest your arms by your sides for Shavasana. Invite the horizon line of your eyes to close. And think of the tension lines of the body as dissolving. And if dissolving is difficult, think of the tension lines of the body becoming so slack that the tension is completely absent. Allow the spontaneous rhythm of your breath to move through you. If you'd like to stay resting, please feel welcome to stay resting. Take as much time as you have, as you'd like, as you need. If you would like to close practice together, begin to turn the head gently side to side, bringing some movement back to the neck. And rolling head center, create lines where you reach your arms away from your legs. And relax that effort, bend your knees one at a time and roll softly to one side. And from there, pressing into the ground and rising to seated. And closing eyes, joining hands together. And we'll lift our voices through the sound of the Om to mark the way out of practice. Exhale everything. And then draw breath in. And may the merits of the practice we've done here today benefit all beings everywhere. Namaste.